Hi, and welcome to the latest video from the Newbie Trader. I'm going to be looking at a couple of bits of software that I use to look for potential trades. And the first one I'm going to be looking for is FlashScore. FlashScore is a free site. Just go onto FlashScore. Download, or you can download it or just go onto it and then save it as one of your favorites. FlashScore is great for looking at what fixtures are out, depending on what you've got set as your favorite ones. It'll put them at the top for you. So in my leagues, I've got most of the leagues in the top leagues of Europe. It also gives you goals as they go in. And it's quite quick, to be fair. This one is. I normally have it on if I can't get the game live, or if I'm listening to the game or something. Then FlashScore is a great place to go to actually keep up to date with the score. It's got every league. It doesn't do cup games. It does some cup games, sorry, but yeah, it does most of them actually. I'm lying. So it does do cup games and league games, and you can save the games as well as save part of the favourites. And if you wanted to put a match that you wanted to keep an eye on, you can actually click this button here and it adds it into here, and then when the goal goes in it gives you an alert. When the goal goes in, red cards, etc., someone gets sent off. It keeps you up to date, so you haven't got to keep monitoring the game. So you see tonight, there's a few games. You've got some league games, you've got some Slovak Portugal games, so not interested in Slovakia. Dutch Stevie Eredivisie, there's a Hungarian game, there's Bundesliga 2 already kicked off. Bundesliga game tonight. With it being a Friday, it's quite lively in terms of football. So we're going to look at, as I said, potential on how to get games. So I'm going to move this across the left hand side. I'm actually going to get this baby up here. So this is CGM bet system. It can be quite expensive if you buy it. If you do buy it without any discount, but with the discount, it can be well worth the money. Now, what I will say is there are other sites you can use for free, but I just like this one. I've got to admit, I do. I just think it's all great. It's all in one place. Now, when you're looking at games, you obviously have to have an edge. You've got to have an angle of what you're looking for in games. What is it you want to get? Is it the first half goal market? Is it the second half goal market? Is it the last 15 minutes of games? Is it the first goal? It depends on your angle of what you want to look for. So for this angle, I want to look for goals in the last 15 minutes. And there's two ways I could possibly do this. The first one is, let me just click on home for a second. This is the home screen. So the first one would be to go into upcoming games up here, which was a screen I was already on. And then in the side here, just make sure you select the red, the orange and the blue bands, so that's home and away. And then you can just say score goals or scored in games. So we'll go games, home and away. And you could come down here. So do you want the current season? Do you want the last 5 seasons? Let's go current season. I think there's been enough games this current season to actually have a benchmark for this one. And then you're looking for the last 15 minutes. So we go first half if you wanted to. Or you go second half, so that takes it from minute 46 say to 90. Or you can actually pick your minutes, which I'm going to do here. So I'm going to actually go into the last 15. So if I say 70, let's go last 20 minutes. Benefits for giving me feedback, thank you very much. So we're looking for teams that scored in games in the last 20 minutes, and then we could highlight down here. Is it this one? I haven't used this for a while. Now, I used to be able to highlight it, but I don't think you can now with more than. So, we're looking for games. Scroll down. Let's have a look. I've not used this for a while. And then you got two refresh buttons. So you can refresh just the home. You refresh just the away. I'm going to refresh home and away. So obviously, I want to see. I don't know how this is going to come out because say it's just been updated. This has, and I'm not quite used to the updates. So I take it we're looking at these, and then you're looking at the higher. It won't. Will it highlight? It does now. So if we wanted to highlight, say more than, let's go 60%. Let's do the same away. Suddenly now our games have gone to 2. So all these games that we had, if we're highlighting, yeah, so Cracovia in the Polish Ekstraklasa League, whatever that is, and Paris Saint-Germain have actually scored goals in the last 15 minutes of games at 60%. So 6 in 10 of their games have actually got a goal in the last 50. They've actually scored in the last 15 minutes. So we've got 2 games. We've got the 7:30 game, which kicks off in about half an hour. And then we got the 8 o'clock game, which kicks off obviously in 2 hours time. Sorry, an hour's time. So that's one way of looking at it. So that gives you your up and coming. Then what you can basically do is you can click on this game here if you double click on it, or if you go to let's double click on it. It brings you up this little menu here, but I don't want that one. If I was to right click on it, and then I was to, you just want anything to highlight it. So let's just go home. You see how it got a little H here now, yeah? And then you can go to your other game that you're interested in. So click on it, right click, go to home, and then save it again. And then in this bit here where you got the games, if you were to click on this one, League and Teams, a bit rusty, sorry, I'm clicking everywhere here, and then go to My Games, and then click refresh again. That will then just give you the 2 games that you have selected in the list. So suddenly from all them games that we had previously, we've now only got 2 games. And then you can dive deeper into these. So if you wanted to look at Cracovia against Lechia Górnicza, you can either go into head-to-head, which we're going to go into now. So let's go into head-to-head and show you this bit here. So what this then does, it gives you the home team and it gives you the away team. And at the moment, this is the home team's fixtures, whether it's home or away. And this is the away team's fixtures, whether they're home and away. Now, teams play differently at home than they do away. So we can sort this out by clicking this little button here called Home versus Away. What that will then do is give us the the home team's home games, and then the away team's away games, because everyone plays different home and away. Unless you're the top team, you can dominate home and away, but even then, you better results at home. And then that gives you how well they've done. So you can actually see the last game was played on the 6th of February. Looks like they've had a winter break because they haven't played the last game for the 12th of December. So the winter break must have kicked in. They've drawn 3-3. And you can't really see that. I can't delve deeper into that one. So they've drawn 3-3 in that game. 1-1 at half time. So there's plenty of goals in the second half. And the same for Wisła Płock. They haven't played the away game since the 17th of December. So they must have played at home in the last game. And they lost 1-0. So before the winter break, they were in very good form. Lost 5-1 to Szczecin. They've had a run of 3 games where they've won 2-0, 2-0. So, but before that, they've had a bit of a bad run, drawing 3, losing 1. Then they went on to run, and then they've been on another bad run since. These haven't been much better. They've only won 1, 2, 3, 4 at home. But the good thing is there's been no 0-0 draws. So that's a good thing. You know you're going to get goals in that game. And then you got Paris Saint-Germain against Rennes. We all know how this is going to turn out. If you've got any iota of football, you know Paris Saint-Germain are the greatest side in France, or the best team in France at the moment, due to the money they've got, and they have just on a run at home where they've drawn 1 and won 10 at their last 11 games. So, and they've scored in quite a few goals, at least 2 a game on average. While these guys, they're on a run of 3 losses away. Last played on the 23rd of January away. So did these play on home on the 23rd of January. So, without me wandering on a little bit, you can see that these are in terrific form. Smashing Reims 4-0 at home in the last game. I don't think these have played Reims yet. Haven't seen them. No. Their last one, they lost 2-1 to Clermont, and before then they lost 1-0 to Lens, 2-1 to Monaco. So they're in pretty fall, should I say, and these are obviously in the good form which you would expect. You could also look at the history of the two sides. If I click on history, that then takes you into the home games and the away games. So as you can see at home, Paris Saint-Germain have dominated, or they've levered them in the last 2 home games. I'm not interested in anything before probably 2019 because it's irrelevant. But you can see even before the money, Paris Saint-Germain, they were quite dominant at home against Rennes. They've only lost one, 2, 3, 4, 7. That was 2-0 defeat in 2018. Even away from home, it's the same story. Paris Saint-Germain are a strong team. So you can see that Paris Saint-Germain favours to win it, rightly so, and you expect to have at least maybe 2 to 3 goals in the game, which is fair to say on this. There's another way you can do it. So if I was to go to have a look at this game, for instance, if I want to go into France, double click on the league table, click on League 1, then click on the current season. That then brings up the French league. So as you can see, Paris Saint-Germain are well out in front. They're 13 points clear of the second place rivals, and they're well out in front, which as you expect, they got the money. It's not a very strong league, so yeah, that's how it is, I'm afraid. But if you were to come down here, so if you were to click on any of these on your league table, you can see how they've done home and away. So here's Rennes, who they've got today, and you can see Paris Saint-Germain have beaten literally everybody at home, bar for Nice in second place. If you look at Rennes, you can see that they've not done very well against teams around them or above them in the league. For instance, Olympique Marseille. Where's Marseille? Let's just put it up a little bit. There you go, lost 2-0 to Marseille. AS Monaco, I've just seen them now, lost 2-1. So the record away from home is good against the lower teams. Against the top sides, they're not so good. So if any of you think of betting Rennes, don't. They're not going to win tonight. But what I was looking at, so that's the one way you can look at it. But we're looking at the last 15-20 minutes. If you come down here, you can look at goals between each minute. So if I was to click on that one, for instance, so you can see Paris Saint-Germain have scored 14 goals and conceded 4 in the last 15 minutes of games. But Rennes, who they're playing against, have also scored 12 goals and conceded only 5 in the last 15 minutes. So you can see that both teams are scoring a lot of goals in the last 15 minutes of games. that tells me there could be a goal in the last 15 to 20 minutes of that game tonight. So that's something we can look out for today. If you went into the Polish league, I think this is Polish, isn't it? Let's have a look. I'm not sure. I think it's a Polish, not Slovakian, are they? No. Let's gather down. Sorry, I'm just going on to the other screen in a second. I want to look at the Polish league. Yeah, it's Polish. So the team they're playing, Cracovia against Lechia. Yeah, it's Polish. So I'm not sure. Let me just double click that. Just drop down to Poland, which is here. Let's go this season. So we've got the teams. So the teams that are playing are actually Cracovia against Lechia. So let's look where they are first. So that's Cracovia, and they're playing Lechia, who are above them in the league. I'm not going to go through all that again because you don't really need to see it. But again, if we're looking at the last 15 minutes, let's see what our teams are. Well, Cracovia here scored 10 and conceded 5 in the last 15 minutes of games. Whilst the team that they're playing, we were Lechia. They scored 3 and conceded, scored 9, sorry, and conceded 3. So both games, you can see, have a high chance of scoring in the last 15 minutes of games. So there's two ways of using CGM bets to look at different angles that you want to look at. So they're the two games that we're looking at tonight, which would be 7:30 and 8 o'clock kickoff. So what I'll do, I'll pause the video, and then when the time comes, we're going to see if our research has done what it wanted us to do, and it's given us the goals that we want. If I wanted to look at other avenues, so obviously you just change your strategy. So looking at first half goals, you just click on first half here, and then carry on going as you would. But for now, we're going to look at these two games to see if we can actually predict goals in the last 15 minutes. So I'll pause the video and then we'll come back later. Okay, whilst I'm waiting for the results to come through from the games, just pull this a bit over that way. It's half time in the first game, so we've got plenty of time. I just want to look at XG. It's something that's being used more and more now in sports statistics, people betting. It's even being used when people are talking about football on the telly. The XG comes up. For those of you who don't know what XG is, it's basically it's not expected. You can say it's expected goals. So how it's worked out is Opta, who are the big stat site, they and other companies, they look at football, but look at quality of chance. So when a team takes a shot, they're looking at the quality of the chance. And then they rate that quality of chance. So a shot smack in front of the goals in the area would have a higher percentage of a goal than a shot from 30 yards away. And what these stat sites do is they total up their chances. So if, for instance, if a team had 3 shots on, basically say from the penalty spot or around about the penalty spot, that XG would be quite high. So the expected goals would probably be, I don't know, it works out, I think it's 2, and I don't know how they work it out, to be honest, but you'd expect them chances high, whereas a team who have 3 shots from 20 to 30 yards out, their XG would be a little bit low because they're not expected to score from that opportunity. So with the stat side, as I said, they total this up and then they total it up across the season, and you get your expected goals for and expected goals against and your net XG. So I just want to take a look at the Premier League. Now everyone loves the Premier League; it's one of the most exciting leagues in the world. And I just want to take a look at some of the teams in the Premier League. So for instance, Manchester City, the top of the league. They've played 24 games, won 19, drawn 3, lost 2. They've got a goal difference of plus 43. So basically they scored 57 goals and they've only conceded 14. The XG, however, says it should have at least had 50 goals. So they scored 57, but their XG says they should have only scored 50.5. Their XG against says they should have conceded 14.9. They should have conceded 14.9, but they've actually conceded 14, so it's near enough a goal. Save. So what does that say about Manchester City? It means they got some shit top players basically, and where they should have only had where the chances that created they should have had goals should have given to 50.5 goals this season. They've actually netted 57. So that's basically a hell of an XG. So it tells you why City players like Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, Gundogan, is that how you pronounce him? They've got a really good team. They can basically score from everywhere, and the XG certainly suggests that. If I go to my favourite team, sorry, I'm a Liverpool fan. Our goal difference is 41, so we're not far off City. We scored 3 more goals than City, but we conceded 5 more, which gives us basically plus 41. Our XG is actually 58.3, so according to our XG, we should have scored 58 goals, but in fact we scored 60. So again, looking at the players Liverpool have got, Salah, Mane, Firmino, Fabinho smashing a few from outrageous angles. The chances Jota have had, stuff like that. So you can see, while City can tend to score them from everywhere, and when you look at City's team, it is world class. You look at Liverpool's team, we've got a front 3. Well, now we've got a front 5 or 6. So you can see where Liverpool's goals is probably scored from inside the box, and we expect them to score. There might be the odd one outside, but yeah, our XG is probably around about where it should be, minus 1.7. Again, goals against. We should have conceded 22 goals this season, or just over 22. We've actually only conceded 19, which tells us that our goalkeeper or our defence is doing its job, because say the goals we should have conceded. And look at the times Alisson saved us in the last few weeks, some of the saves he's made. So we are about where we are with goals scored. We should have conceded a lot more than we have, but say we've kept them out. So it shows that our keeper or something's working there. I want to go down to someone who's actually in the pluses on the goals. So we go down to the first team, who's Brentford. In the XG table, they are currently 7th. The league position is actually 14th. So why are they so high in the XG table? Okay, let's have a look then. So they've played 24 games. They've won 6, drawn 5, lost 13. So teams come up from the Championship last year. You'd expect them to have a season where they're going to struggle, but success for them would be finishing outside the top 3, which currently they are. So they've got a goal difference of minus 14, so they scored 26 but let in 40. They should have actually scored 30 goals this season, so they got an XG of plus 4.2 compared to what it should be. There's no surprise, they've probably got Ivan Toney up front, but there's not many. You look at that Brentford side, there's not many goals in that team. They've actually should have only conceded 28.6 goals this season. They've conceded 40. So they've conceded 11 more goals than they should have done. So what's the point of that? What does that tell us then? So that tells us basically that the Brentford goalkeeper should have maybe saved a few more than he should have. Defence maybe not up to scratch, letting shots in and stuff like that. So you can basically see from that how XG would work. So you can see if I was going to look at Brentford and putting a bet on them, I'd probably think twice. They don't score, they create the chances but don't finish them off. And on the other hand, they're easy to score against. So the goals are going against all angles and impossible angles by looks this way. teams shouldn't really be scoring. So the XG table can give you a vast of how the team plays. So for instance, if you're looking to bet City, you'd say, okay, yeah, this team, they score more than the chances allow, so they can score from anywhere, basically. Liverpool gives you basically what it's saying in 10. You look at Liverpool team, it's no surprising. Their front three, they're getting some great positions, and they carve out some great chances, so there's no surprise in there. The only team is Chelsea. I mean, look at Chelsea at minus 5.4. So they've scored 48, but their XG says they should have scored 42. But then you look at the Chelsea players, like Mason Mount, Ziyech. I mean, that goal he scored against, was it Spurs the other day? Oh my God, what a goal! Reece James has smashed them in. So you look at Chelsea players, and you know you can see that they score from all over the park as well. They've conceded 18, but again they should have conceded 22. That tells me that their keeper, which he is, let's be honest, can't remember. It's not Kepa anymore, is it? It's that Mendy. That tells me, yeah, he's a good keeper and he keeps out some of the shots, just like Alisson. So XG tables can be quite good to look at how teams are. If you're looking for goals, you're looking for teams maybe with a higher XG than their goal difference. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, they're fourth in the XG table as well. 37.4 XG. They've actually scored 42, but they should have only scored 37. I can't think done much about West Ham. Yeah, Bowen's probably one of the main contributors to that. I mean, he can score from anywhere. Good player. The goals against, yeah, they should have conceded 31. They have conceded 31. So the defence is basically, they're not letting any shots they shouldn't do. So I guess David Moyes, if he's looking at the XG, he's going to be pretty pleased with his season so far. The team I want to look at is Crystal Palace, because I was read earlier on the telly that, watched the telly earlier on, and they were saying about Crystal Palace's goals this year. They scored more goals this year in the Premier League than they've scored in any other year. Played 23, won 5, drawn 10, lost 8. That's not bad for Palace, to be fair. 13th in the table. But they've got a goal difference of -3, so they've scored 32, but they've let in 35. So when you look at Palace, they've actually should have only scored 27.4. So looking at the lower part of that table from Arsenal down, from Brentford down, they've all got a minus. But Crystal Palace, they seem to have a plus XG. And then you're looking at their goals against, though, so you can see that maybe when Patrick Vieira's come in, he's looked at the attacking play in Crystal Palace, which has maybe left them a bit vulnerable at the back. So they should have only conceded 28 goals. They've actually conceded 35. So maybe their defensive, the keeper, the defence. I don't know any Palace fans watching this will tell me different. But it looks as if they're quite easy to score against. And what I've seen of Palace this season, they are quite leaky at the back. But again, going forward, I think that I got a young striker there. I can't remember his name. McGregor. I can't remember his name. But he seems to be scoring a few this year for Palace, and they seem to be getting their active ones again for a goal. But that XG surprised me. But look at Aston Villa. They're down in 11th, but their XG table's 14th. Played 22, won 8, drawn 3, lost 11. Villa will be a bit of a funny team this year. They've sacked their manager, brought in the brilliant Stevie G. Their goal difference at the moment is -4, so they scored 31 but let in 35. They should have actually only scored 22 goals this season. But when you look at the players that Villa's got, and you look, let's take it before Stevie G, their main striker, what's his name, the lad up front, I can't remember what his name is, top of my head, been injured most of the season, hasn't he? It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he's been injured most seasons, so looking like John McGinn, There's a couple of wingers they've scored as well. The one that replaced Jack Grealish, I can't remember his name. My mind's gone blank. Anyway, they've scored a lot of goals in midfield, so hence why maybe that's why their XG is quite high. They scored them from quite far out. I remember the game against Everton. They played in and they would score some smashing goals against them. I think they beat them 3-1 in the end. And now the Jazz come in, he's brought in Coutinho. They got that Jacob Ramsey who seems to have come from nowhere. So I can imagine that XG will go up over the next few weeks. But at the moment, you look at the season overall, they should have only scored 22, but they've actually scored 31. The other side of the coin is they should have only conceded 29, but yet they've let in 35. It tells me the goalkeeper, the defence, the actual setup of the team wasn't right. And I don't think Stevie G has cured that bit yet. They still concede a few goals, but yeah, I'd be looking at Villa as another one that if I wanted goals. I mean, there's Coutinho at the moment. He's come in to a couple of games he's played, and he's just been outstanding. Other teams surprised is Leeds. Leicester, they surprised me. They should have scored. They scored 35, but they should have only scored 29. I think that might go down a little bit. But then you look at players they've got. Maddison scores a lot of goals from outside the box. Maybe that's where their XG's gone slightly higher. Newcastle, Saint-Maximin. He's the only one scoring from before the Arabs come in and took over, the princes, where the royal family come in and took over. So he's probably part to blame for that. And no surprise to see Burnley and Norwich down there. Burnley struggling to score. Strikers are missing easy chances. Yeah, they scored 17. They should have hit 19. So it's no surprise here to see them solo down there. And Norwich City again, another one. They scored 14. Should have released 16. And again for both teams, actually they've only conceded 28 goals when they should have conceded 32. But that's no surprise either. I mean, I know I just slated them for their attacking play, but they got a decent goalkeeper there, Nick Pope. And the defence isn't that bad. That Tarkowski, whatever you pronounce his name, he looks to be a pretty decent player as well. Every time I see him play, I'm quite impressed with him. And the way Sean Dyche sets his teams up, they are defensively minded. So there's no surprise that their XG against is slightly better than what it should be. But no surprise again that their attack is slightly less than it should be. So just want to bear in mind with XG, it's a way of working it out. Way of looking at teams when you want, especially when you're looking for goals. Just bear in mind, Wolves are another one. Wolves are a team that create quite a few chances but don't convert many. They scored 19 this season, but they should have actually scored 23. But then you look at the other side of the coin. Wolves' defence this year is so improved. They've conceded 17, but they should have conceded 25.8, and they're the biggest team. If you're looking at the XG, 8.8. So either their keeper, the defence, they've saved them 8 goals this season, which is a lot when you consider it. I mean, considering it's too good, considering it's like what you get an average of 1.5 to 2 goals a game. But that's what 4 to 5 games where they should have conceded goals and they haven't. But it's a way that they've played since Nuno Santos got sacked. They brought this other new guy in, who I forget his name, the Portuguese guy I think he is, isn't he? He certainly made them harder to score against, but he's also the less potent at the other end. So yeah, they're 8th at the moment, so they must be doing something right. So anyway, that's where I wanted to finish off on XG. Well worth looking into the XG. It's a good tool to look at. You've also got XG table, so I brought it out today. There's one of our games there, the Paris Saint-Germain game. I can't see the other game on there, but it's not all leagues are covered. So I don't think the Polish league is covered, for instance. So our Paris Saint-Germain game basically gives you the XG for the home, 1.8. The XG away, 0.9. And then it gives you the gross, so basically expecting 2 to 3 goals in that game. Then XG 0.9. further down it'll probably give you the goals scored and the goals against as well, if you want to read down. But say this, and it gives you your Poisson. Basically what's looking for is ideal bet. So basically what it's saying here is if it's in the darker green, so this one here in the Sarangis Antwerp, the home win is as a value bet at 23%. So what it's saying is that could be a home win. Odds at 3.9. The away odds aren't that good at 2. So they're basically saying is for Sarang, I've got a good option against Antwerp. So that is in the Belgian Super League. So let's have a look how they're getting on. I just want to move, before I do that, I want this Polish league. So let's just add this league to my league, so it's at the top. Click on this, so it goes to the top. And it's still 0-0 at the moment, Sarangis Antwerp. Paris Saint-Germain 0-0 half time in our game. I think they just had a goal disallowed. That one, Cracovia against Lecce. But again, we're coming close to that game now, so we're going to again, what I'll do is I'll pause it. Just one thing, Porto are losing 1-0 to Sporting. Porto were the favourites in that game. And over 2.5 is the value bet. We're in 34th minute. And Sporting are just scoring again, so it just goes to show, yeah, over 2.5 is 2.2, so that's quite a good price. Start of the game for the overs, and it looks like Sporting just got again, so it's 2-0. So I'm going to pause the video again and waiting to see. And we're looking, remember, for our goals in the two games. This one here, around about the 75th minute, and again in the Paris Saint-Germain game, we're looking for goals as well in the 75th minute plus. So the first game, we've had our first goal. It's the 68th minute, so it's kind of 2 minutes too slow, and it came as a bit of a surprise. I was trying to get the odds up on Bet365, and I can't get them up now because the market's been suspended. But what I will say to you, the match odds market right now, if I was to click on that, basically shows that Krakow, remember in the CGM bets that both teams were quite high. No, the home team was high, wasn't it? Sorry. In this one, so let's go to upcoming. This one, the home team was 60%, but the away team is 30%. So I would leave this now. I wouldn't touch it again. There's already been a goal in it. We wouldn't have hit this one, but we were 2 minutes out. Again, I'm not sure what the goal. If I went in the over 1.5, would that give me any indication? So the 1.5 goal market, it rose to 6.5. So I imagine the 0.5 would at least gone to 3s to 4s between there and there. It's normally doubles there, I can't quite remember now, but I see that's dropped dramatically to around about 2s. So yeah, maybe it would have been a value bet depending on what price you wanted to take at it, but we'll see. I'll keep with the game. I'm not going to over 1.5 now. Is currently looking just above 2.3. I'm expecting 2-0. Let's have a look at CGM. Let's have a look at the head-to-head on that one. Okay, home Cracovia 1-1. They have scored it a bit. If I went into, let's go into here. We're in the 75th minute. And it's 1-0. This is letting down itself a bit, isn't it? looks like I'm not going to get that. What's the advanced goals? No, get that one. Let's click on that. Get back to upcoming. Yeah, that bit's let itself down a little bit, but normally what you give is the percentage of what's happened in the past in them games. Obviously it's still under development that bit. It used to work, so maybe they're doing a bit with it, trying to improve it a little bit. Anyway, it's throwing me off a bit of course now. Yes, the Polish game and Flash Scores is not working as it should be either tonight. This is a game where I added into my favourites. Let's just put this into here. Not doing themselves any favours now, are they? Anyway, yeah, so yeah, Cracovia 1-0. East Lechia. They've got a 60% chance of scoring between the 17th and 19th minute. It's coming in the 68th, so it'll just be for 2 minutes out. I mean, yeah, maybe. I'm going to take that as a slight victory. To be honest, 2 minutes is 2 minutes. You know, I don't know if they're going to score again. Let's just check some of the pieces of software I've got on here. Just show you this bit. So this is an in-game stats site. So you can see Lechia are they were fourth. They were highest team. See the goals coming here. 67, then the shot 68. This team they've only scored in 30%. They normally get their goals, I imagine, about this time, to be honest. That's why they hit the pressure up. I'm not really going to go back and look at that now. And yeah, I wouldn't put up another bet onto this one, but what I would say is, looking at that, they are looking to get back in, but the stats don't agree with us, so we'll leave that one. I'm going to say that as a model victory, as a little victory, because we did say the home team did score. They would have been the underdogs, so the prices would have been quite high in the match odds market. Have I got that on? Match odds market, let's take a look at them on the click screen. They would have been, yeah, look, they were 3s, they rose up to 3.75, they've now dropped to 1.25. What were Lechia? Lechia were, well, they were down there, they must have been around about 2s, I imagine, and then suddenly they hit up to 70s. Draw. So yeah, I'm counting that as a little model victory. Okay, that game in Poland ended 2-0. So I am taking the victory from that one. The odds would have been quite good as well. So if we would have begun 70 minutes plus, we would have had some good odds on that. I can't remember what they were now, over 1.5, but they were quite high, weren't they? It's finished 2-0 just so. There you go, there. So yeah, that's a victory for us. We would have had a goal in the first game. The second game is currently still 0-0. But what I will say is Paris Saint-Germain just had a goal disallowed. So we hit the 70th minute. This is our time now for a goal. Paris Saint-Germain are currently around about 2.3 to win the game. So that's probably going to be the bet. If you were going to put a trade on right now, I think the over 0.5 is still something ridiculous, like 1.5 or something. So it's Paris Saint-Germain, they're clear favourites. You're not going to get high odds on that, especially around about now. So the home is probably the best trade if you wanted to get it done. Around about 2.5, sorry, 2.3 right now. So we'll just look at that and see how that one gets on. The XG Paris Saint-Germain is currently 1.8. That's an XG for home goals. Currently 2.3, so they create around 2 to 3 chances in a game. I'm not sure what they'd take from that, and they normally don't really concede many at home, so we looked at Paris Saint-Germain's record before, and compared to Rennes, they're knocking 2-3-4. But Rennes they don't get battered. I mean, 2-0. I'm expecting probably 2-0, 1-2-0 in this game. Rennes don't normally get battered. I imagine against Paris Saint-Germain, they would have basically set the barricades up, brought the team bus on, and tried to defend all their lives. This one here, Serang is that way. If I ever mentioned about Serang, the value bet was on the home win. Well, that whip it down to 10 men. Let's see if they can get that home win. Bundesliga, Leipzig beat Coventry. I didn't really look at that game. So the game we're looking at here is the French game, Paris Saint-Germain against Rennes. We're looking for a goal between now and the 90th minute. So the first one was a win. We got our goal. I'd love to put that one on. I wish I had a bit more belief in my back, but at least I already scored one. And to be honest, we're lucky between the 70th and 90th minute. Maybe I should have put it on, I don't know. But hey, this is all for research purposes, so let's see how it gets on. Okay, Paris Saint-Germain, talk about leaving it as late as you possibly could. How about the 93rd minute? Yeah, Kylian Mbappe set free the end by Lionel Messi, and he made no mistake into the bottom corner. So you got a team of Messi, you've got Kylian Mbappe, I'm not sure if Neymar, but I think Icardi played. This is a team, Di Maria, Gini Wijnaldum. Look at the lineup beforehand. So they have, where's Cesar here? Draxler, Verratti, fucking world classness he was, Mbappe, Marquinhos, Hakimi, Bernat. These are all world-renowned players, Paredes, and they beat a team that's let's just say they've been struggling in the French league this season. 1-0 scored in the injury time. People say to me, Pochettino is a top manager. Pochettino this, Pochettino's that. This is a world-class squad. You've only got to look. Paredes is Draxler. These are all top players. You know, Kimpembe as well as Navas, Marquinhos, Hakimi, one of the most renowned fullbacks. There are people after him all. And yeah, Messi, former best player in the world, you know. And yeah, they're only winning 1-0 anyway. They've won it. The goal's there. I was just surprised that it's 1-0 in the 93rd minute, whatever. So that goes our trade for today. 2 of them come in. We had two come in. So that's just one part of research that we can look at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video, and what I'll do is I'll look for games for tomorrow. I'll post this video tonight onto the YouTube channel. I've finished 1-0 now, and we're going to look for some games for tomorrow. It's a big game tomorrow, Saturday, a lot of games. Let's see how many we get through. I'll do the research, and what I'll do is, I'll post them into another video. This is nearly 48 minutes long now. So I'll post them into another video, and we'll see how we get on tomorrow.